if you're like me and you're editing, you are always looking for a way to do your job of editing quicker and more efficiently. And today I think I've come up with a little tool for Davinci Resolve that will help you make your tutorial videos a little bit easier. As an editor, I'm always looking to do my job a little faster than the last time. And if it's a repetitive process, like tutorial videos will be on this channel, I wanted to create a tool for myself to help make that process a little bit quicker in Davinci Resolve. So let's go over to the computer and let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let me show you some of the highlighting shapes that I have created for Davinci Resolve. You'll see in the timeline here, we've got a screenshot of a Premiere Pro timeline, and if I wanted to do a tutorial on the timeline and I wanted to point out certain objects, this box that I created would do the trick for you. So, for example, here I have a highlight already set up over the source monitor in your Premiere Pro timeline. You can animate it so that it can slide over. Now it's on the record side of the Premiere Pro screen. I've also have shapes, squares and a circle shape. So here's an example of the square shape. I have a box set up around the bins. I have another box around the tools. And I also have a box around the tracks in your Premiere Pro timeline. And as you can see, this box does a pretty good job of highlighting a section of the screen that you're pointing out to your viewers. We also have a circle. I have a couple examples. I have one circle over the sequences bin in my Premiere Pro project screen, and then I have a circle around the tools again, once again, just so you can see that section of your video that you're trying to highlight to your viewers. So let me just show you how these work. We've got the box here. Open up your inspector panel in Davinci Resolve, and the box is actually a Fusion title, and if you look over here, you'll see that's where they will show up once installed. They will show up under Fusion titles right here, and we have the red circle, we have a red rectangle, and we have a red square. So I have a rectangle shape set up here. You'll see the controls in your inspector panel of what you can control. The color, you can change the color to anything you want. Just a simple selecting a different color. Let's go with cyan right there. You could dial in individual colors on your own. You can make it a gradient. You could make it four-corner gradient, but we'll just stick with the solid color for now. Also, up here you'll see in the filter section, I have it on Gaussian, fast Gaussian. So what that means here is you can soften the edges of your highlight and make it like that, a little softer. You could adjust the width of your border, like so. Put it back to its default size. Same thing with the edge, we'll put it back to the hard edge. Another cool thing about this is it can animate on. So let's take this box. This is our final position. So here in length, right here, it's set to 1, which is the complete shape. So if I go back to 0, and go to the beginning of our clip here and set a keyframe. I'll set a keyframe on the position. You'll see that little dot right there. Right here, that is where your shape will begin. So we'll set a keyframe there. Let's jump ahead 10 frames. We will set another keyframe there. And on this keyframe, we will bring the length back to 1. And we'll go to the beginning of the clip and hit play. And there you go, your shape has animated on. Let's say, oh, I like that, but I want it to be a little softer edge. We'll just adjust the edge, the soft edge. We'll go back to the beginning, and now it's a softer edge box. And as you see, I had it animate from the source window to the record side right there. Very simple, straightforward. All right, let's move on over to the boxes here. Again, you can control the size of these boxes in the original panel, in the original title panel, which is where in the Fusion title itself, or you can use your regular effects settings in the inspector panel to zoom. We've got the box that's around the tools here. Right here, we're going to use zoom and make it larger, or you can make it smaller. You can move it left or right using the position arrows, using the X and Y. As you see though, when you zoom it here with the settings panel, your border will get thinner. So if you wanted your border to thicken up, you'd go back to the title side, the original side, and you would adjust the width of the border like so, and now that border is a little bit thicker and easier to read. And again, you have all the same controls with the blur, with the animation. You can set keyframes to animate. I can change the color. Over here, let's make this one yellow. All right. We want to make the box that is over our track panel on the Premiere Pro timeline, we want to make that blue. So I'll just select blue, and now that is blue. Again, you can animate it. You can soften the edge. You can thicken the border. You can also change the shape of the corners right here. So with corner radius, we're working on the blue one. I'm adjusting it, and now it's a little bit rounder. Do you see that right there? I'll set it back to the beginning. That's where it's square, and then we'll round the edges a little bit. That looks kind of nice, and maybe with a little soft edge. So that's how that works. And now let's move over to the red box that is around the bins in our project window. It is currently red. I will adjust the width a little bit. We can the original side in the title page, we adjust the width here. And now with the settings tab, we select that, and I will reposition it so it includes the colors of our bins there. And it's pretty straightforward. I think this is a helpful tool. You can, let's change the color on this as well. Let's make this something else. Let's make this green. How about that? And again, you can control whatever color green you want. Let's make a little bit darker green. Let's round the edges a little bit. Let's round the edges a little bit, like that. The height, let's make it a little tighter. And then with settings, we'll reposition it so it includes the name of our column there. You can also set keyframes for them to dissolve on and off if you want in your settings panel. Come down here to composite and opacity. Right now it's 100%, and if I wanted to fade it off, take it down to 0, set a keyframe, go ahead a few frames, set another keyframe, bring it up to 100%, and now when we play it down, that green box will fade on. There you go. We also have the circle. So let me just show you a circle. All the controls in the circle work exactly the same way they do in the other shapes. You can change the color. Let's do something different here. Let's make that bigger circle pink. Why not? Let's bring it over to purple. I like purple. Make the border a little bit thicker. Gotta commit that color to memory. Let's make the border a little thicker. Soften the edge just a tiny bit. There we go. We have our purple circle there. The smaller circle I have that animating on, highlighting the sequences bin in our project panel. So if I was making a tutorial and I wanted to point out the sequences bin in the project panel, I would do exactly what you see right here. We have a little animated circle pointing out where that is. We will fade that out. As well. So now it will animate on and fade off right there. And that's the simple but extremely helpful shapes. One more thing, let's see. So let's say if we wanted a red circle, you'd hover over it there in your Fusion titles. And Fusion titles. I'm going to drop that circle in timeline. It defaults in that position centered on your screen. And from here, you can use the transform controls to zoom, make it larger, smaller, reposition it wherever you would like. And then if you wanted to adjust the thickness of the border, like that, you can soften the edges, change the color. Let's pick something interesting. Mercury, there you go, nice little white, simple as that. Also, one other thing that's very cool, you see we have this circle here. Let me get rid of the edge. We have this round circle here. You can also turn this outline shape into a solid, like that. So if for some reason you needed to blur something, you can turn this into a solid. Now, one other thing I thought of, if you invert it and have solid, now you have a circle that's in the middle of your screen. And an interesting thing about this, if there was something you wanted to highlight in the middle of your screen, you could just affect the opacity. I can still see through, but now I have this outline, this circle. And if I wanted to change the shape and position of it, I would come back over here. And now I can highlight something and darken the entire background. At the same time, you can change the shape, reposition it. Let's switch our color to black. Now we've got a little bit of a spotlight here. We've got a bit of a spotlight. We can also use it to make a vignette. Yes, I said it. This can be a nice vignette tool. We soften the edge and we change the opacity ever so slightly. It doesn't really work good on this image here, but I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say. I just like the fact that I can use this to spotlight something on my screen, and with the combination of the original shapes, fusion control, I can adjust the width, height, I can change the position of it. We're going to highlight the timeline and the tools, something like that there. Pretty simple. It's a pretty simple tool, but it will save me lots of time, and hopefully it will save you lots of time. So that's it. Those are my Fusion title shapes that I've created, and I know that they're going to help make my process of doing tutorial videos a lot easier. And if you like those, you can head over to my website. There will be a link in the description below where you can pick these up for yourself. And if you like this idea, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, click the bell so you'll be notified the next time I post a video, and please, please leave a comment below. I'd love to talk to you, and let me know what you think of these shapes that I made for you guys. Thanks for watching. I will check you in the next video. Happy editing.